This is eCommerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining. Oh, that was really loud. Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of eCommerce Uncensored. This is episode number 92. My name's Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso
and Paul Chu.
I'm sad to say, Jason, today's going to be my last episode.
Thank God.
Because I am winning the Mega Millions tonight.
God.
In other words,
Sorry,
Here
Paul.
we go.
Sorry, Paul.
Here we go.
Just because you don't believe in winning money, Paul.
No. Kevin will win the 1.6 billion and then come in the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Me, if I won that 1.6 billion, I would just send every client an email saying it's been great working with you. I'll see you later.
I just think there's something like not doing anything. I think you just
No.
die faster.
I'll find something to do. It just won't be.
But there's something to like people doing something that people need you for, not just doing stuff for yourself.
That's questionable if people need us.
Okay, that's questionable. Yes. But just the idea that we think people need us is enough.
I don't really want to be bothered. I can care less if you need me. I'd rather be on the golf course, like playing every beautiful course. No.
Well, I guess you could. You're going to buy a bunch of properties on these golf courses. You're going to have to manage those proproperties, right?
Right. Exactly. I gotta
That's
manage.
work. That's a job in
I
itself.
want to watch my nice properties from the golf course.
Nice.
I'd get a boat. I mean, no, I would not be dealing with people.
It's almost too much money.
Yeah. But I won't turn it down if I win.
Oh, okay.
Paul will.
Anyway, so like the rest of our podcasts, we start out with a little quick Klaviyo note, right? Klaviyo is our favorite marketing platform, email marketing platform.
Mm-hmm.
I always leave out email for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes you say e-commerce.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
but they're and something that I've actually learned, and I don't want to say I learned it like the other day, but like Kevin and I were trying to figure out how many sales are coming from, Facebook, for one of our clients. And Facebook does give you the ability to see the numbers, but they're not always 100%, right? Like, it depends on when they saw you on Facebook, when they clicked, when they purchased. There are all these like variables that kind of have to line up for Facebook to give itself credit for an order.
Mm-hmm.
So we started creating these like segments, like anyone who has come from Facebook and then purchased, put them in a segment, and anyone who has come from Google, which I don't think the Google one's working right because it shows 0 sales, and I know that's not the case, but
it's showing a lot of sales because it's showing the organic sales too as well.
No, the Google one's not working. It's something that I did, but anyway, creating these segments of people so that you can have like a better understanding of the behavior of your clients, where they're coming from, and actually it's funny because today we're going to be talking about expectations for your paid advertising. And this came directly from that, right? Like we're trying to see how Facebook advertising is working for one of our clients. And it's not, as I said, not real easy to track. But in Klaviyo, you can create, because you know when somebody purchases, and then they can just backtrack to where that person came from. So we're creating all these segments of people, and we're getting a better idea of like where the sales are coming from.
Well, it's great for people like us, for agencies like us, where we have to report to our clients on how things are performing. And, sometimes we'll have, you have the email platform over here, you have the website over here, then you have Google and Facebook separately, and you're trying to bring all that data together, and Klaviyo does that. And yesterday was kind of the first time I kind of looked over your shoulder on Klaviyo a little bit, and I was pretty impressed that you can get that granular with it, which is really cool.
Yeah. So if you're not using Klaviyo, go to ecommerceuncensored.com/email. It will redirect you to Klaviyo. All that does is give us credit that you came to Klaviyo through us, and we would really appreciate that. You can sign up for a free account. That is always free if you have anything below 250 contacts. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you get started right away. And there's no levels of the account. So you go in there, you have the same level that any other person.
Right, so you don't have to be paying to get all the...
Yeah, which is really
cool. Which
is
awesome. And then they're also coming up with all these cool different features and stuff.
That was our...
That's our camera just went off.
Was our camera just went off?
Mm.
That's nice.
Yeah, these are cheap.
Did it just turn off?
Brand new.
So and all this behavioral stuff that they're doing is pretty awesome. Also, we have a Facebook group, eCommerceUncensored.com/Facebook. It will redirect you to our Facebook link. Sign up. That's going pretty well. And you can hang out with other people that have stores like you. They ask us questions. You can have direct interaction and contact with us. If you have a problem with something, you can throw it in there. And a lot of people are using it as a good way to get, extra learning, extra advice.
Yeah, just asking questions because, there's some things that we haven't come across that some of our Facebook group members have mentioned. So
absolutely.
It's really cool.
So the other day, Kevin and I, let me back up. The other day, we bought these new whiteboards for the office. These awesome, whiteboards. And we hung them up on the wall. And we had one that was kind of blank and had nothing on it.
Well, let's tell them what they are first. They're not really like whiteboards that you would buy at the store. These are actually
no, you get these for free outside. You just walk outside.
Well, you buy them, but they're not whiteboards. You don't go to Home Depot and be like, "Where are your whiteboards?" and they send you to these.
No. These are do-it-yourself white panels, which they're like $14.
Yeah. So I came in. Jason wanted to buy these really expensive whiteboards.
Yeah, your ass. You wanted to buy this stupid flip whiteboard that rolls around on these wheels. It's $300.
Yeah.
He's like, no. I kind of like that they move. And it's like, Kevin, please. Look. You're gonna get one stupid whiteboard for $300. Let's go to Home Depot, and for $38, we got two giant.
Yeah, they're way bigger than the other one.
It's not even close.
They're 4x8, right? 4x8.
Yeah.
4 feet by 8 feet.
Yeah.
They're ginormous. And then I was like, and then we got a piece of wood to hang up. He's like, I don't think we need those right now. No, don't worry about it. He makes fun of me for fighting with everybody, but he doesn't realize that he does it just in a different way. No, we don't need that. No.
It just doesn't.
Kevin, that client's being an asshole. They're gonna fire us. No. You don't understand. I've been doing this for 15 years. No. Kevin, just trust me. So, anyway, you're very combative too. You just don't want to admit to it.
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
I am, and I agree with him when I'm wrong, but you don't ever.
Because it's doesn't happen that often.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We just don't notice that much.
So anyway, we had this client who we've been working with, and Kevin and I do have a little bit of an issue that because we do all of the marketing work. I don't want to say all the work because obviously we have Paul and now we have Albert doing some social media for us and Paul doing the design. But we do all the marketing work for our clients, and it's kind of difficult to do the work and then to report what we're doing.
Right.
Which is a big hole in our agency. We know that. I just hate freaking doing it.
It's a time sucker.
That's part of it too. We just don't like doing it. We don't
it.
have that kind of. We just want to get results basically, and we think that should be enough.
Right. So we were talking about this one client that we do a lot of work with. They've been with us for a while, and we were kind of talking about strategies to come up with different, ways to kind of bring more clients in. Mm-hmm. This all came from the client sending us this spreadsheet asking us to come up with all these numbers for them, mm-hmm. which was fine. And it got us kind of talking about expectations, right? What are your expectations for your paid advertising? Specifically for this client, when we're looking at the numbers, it's not like they're making millions of dollars from the paid advertising, but what they are doing is acquiring customers for free.
Right.
And what we mean by that is, in this industry, right, people think that there should be an ROI on paid advertising. Number one, it's getting very crowded out there.
Albert, stop moving around. Stop moving around. No, seriously, stop moving around. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to make sure this camera doesn't die too.
All right. Well, okay.
ROI on paid advertising.
Yeah, so people are, or clients are hell bent on thinking well, I'm running advertising and, I'm supposed to make a lot of money because I'm advertising. And really, that's not the proper way to look at it. Now, this is not something that I've come up with. This is something that I've actually learned from Russell Brunson, right? And he talks about this a lot. And he talks about like people coming into him and saying, "Hey, Russell, what's your marketing budget?" And he's like, I don't have one. Well, what do you mean you don't have one? He's like, well, I don't go into like marketing like I'm looking to make a profit. Like all I'm trying to do is break even. It's pretty interesting to think about, right? Like all he's looking to do is spend $1 and get $1 back, right? It seems pretty simple, but the psychology of like clients or even like you guys running your businesses is like, well, I'm buying Facebook ads, so now like I should be,
in the positive immediately.
Right. Or I'm running Facebook ads or Google ads because I'm trying to be profitable, but that's not really how it works. And it's really, we talk a lot about having products, like more than one product, right? Like, so if you have like a niche store, selling products that complement each other is really how you make money, right? So, you get someone maybe to buy your widget and it costs you $1 to get them to buy. And on the other end of that, you've only made $1, so you're breaking even. But if you have other shit to sell them, that's where you make your money.
Yeah, you're really not going to make that money on that first sale. And I think you can look at any kind of big, big brand that does this kind of marketing out there. You'll see. Jason and I were talking about, like, for instance, I went to a website that sells a monthly subscription to toothbrushes. It's called Quip, I think. I ended up on their website because I saw Ezra Firestone was he was going over their website for, evaluating their website, and I just clicked over. From that very point, I started seeing advertising throughout everything that I was doing. So you got to look at that. Look at how much they're spending to try to acquire me as a customer.
Right, and every time you see their ad and they don't buy, it's costing them money.
Right.
Right? So they've figured out like what the lifetime, like it's the same thing like for Dollar Shave Club, right? Like they don't make money on the $8 razor, right? Once you buy the razor, then they give you like the cream and then they give you like, the facial like rub or whatever the hell they call it. And then they give you all this other crap. And that's all pure profit. Right.
And I think it's such a hard concept to grasp because, like you said, people go into Facebook and they hear what a great thing Facebook is and marketing Facebook ads, and they're like, I'm going to be rich because I start advertising my product on Facebook. And it's just not true, because you are going to have to spend a lot of money. It's very relative depending on how much you're going to spend, but to acquire that customer, there's going to be a significant cost involved.
Yeah, and it's funny because we have some clients that we're not doing Facebook ads for, and like they'll tell us like, yeah, man, we're getting a 1.7. Like every like we're getting, for every $1 we spend, we're getting $1.70 back. And we're like, no, you're not. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like the way that the numbers are being reported, you're not getting 1.7 because nobody gets those kind of numbers. Like anybody that knows anything about marketing knows that you don't really make your money on the front end. Like everything is on the back end.
Well, I think it's funny when we're able to see what other marketing agencies are doing, because in some instances we have clients that use us for one service and may use another agency for something else, or we're about to work with somebody and we can kind of get a glimpse into what the other marketing agencies are doing, and it kind of ties into the fact that e-commerce stores don't always understand this process. And I think for us, not only reporting is a problem, I think education with some of our clients is also a big problem.
It's just hard to do it all.
Yeah.
It's like hard to do that, but
because you're not going to know unless you're like, we should almost tell them to listen to our podcast, but then they'd find out that we talk about them sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the truth. It's like, and it's like another thing. Like we had a client today who we unexpectedly parted ways with, right? And it's such they're so short-sighted in how they and now I'm thinking about this, like this is even like crazier to me. Every person that they get coming in that door is paying them on a recurring basis. So if we bring a client in for them, in June, they're
Yeah.
they're not only are they getting that customer, they are then getting that customer on a recurring basis for thousands and thousands of dollars. But
Or it's like it's a timing thing too. Even if we do present them with a lead in June, that lead may not come to anything for 6 months, 3 to 6 months from. And who knows the time period? It may happen 6 months. It may happen 12 months later. But you gotta be able to stick it out for that kind of series to take place.
Well,
that
and you
sequence of
also-
events to take place.
right, but you also have to have the right mindset.
Right.
Right, the right mindset is going in and saying, "Look, how do I acquire customers for $0?" Right? What's a customer? A customer is someone who takes their credit card out and gives you their money. Once somebody does that, they're like whatever it is, 7 times as likely to buy the next time. So then it's your job to then use Klaviyo or some sort of email marketing platform to try to sell them other things. But people get so wrapped up, and Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this a lot, right? Paul, you know this. Like what's the ROI for opening up the door for an old lady? Nothing. It's just a nice thing to do, And it's
Right.
So he talks about how marketing is you got to stop looking at it from just an ROI perspective, right? Like Coca-Cola, like Pepsi, like all these big brands. They dump millions of dollars into their marketing before they get $1.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way around, right? We have clients that say to us okay, prove that this will work and then I'll spend more money. And we're like, what do you mean?
Well, you're even talking about Coca-Cola. It's like most of the people that we're talking about or talking to in this podcast, no one's ever heard of them before. So if you see someone on Facebook or Google AdWords or Google Shopping or whatever it may be, and you see someone selling a watch on Facebook, a direct sale on Facebook, how likely are you to actually just go ahead and buy it if they're not Apple iWatch or something like that? They're going to be skeptical. They're going to need to get to know you a little bit better and trust you. And that doesn't happen the first time someone sees you.
Right. So there's always going to be, some sort of investment somewhere. And Russell talks a lot about how, and you got to listen to these people and pick up on the little, nuances of how they talk. He'll be like, I can spend as much money as I want if I knew I'm going to get it back in a couple of days. Nobody hears that part of it, but basically what he's saying is look, I spend the money up front.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of days could mean anything. It can mean 7 days. It can be a month. Basically he's saying in a short period of time. And that's how it works. It's you buy something and then you try to get that person as hard as you can to try to buy other stuff. Right?
Yeah. It's never an instant return.
It's never an instant return.
The big brands I think that you guys are pointing on is a really good example because with Coca-Cola, you see, a commercial or an advertisement, no one goes and buys a Coke immediately then. But 7 days later, a month later, you're out at Disney World, you guys need a refreshment, you're probably going to go to them because you remember it. So
it's even worse than that. Most of the places that sell Pepsi have an exclusive with just Pepsi.
Right.
So
you don't even have a choice
when you walk into a deli or you walk into some store, right? So it's even worse than that. It's when you go into a deli, you can either buy Coke products, depending on what they have, or Pepsi products.
That's true.
So it's even less of a reason for them to do marketing, but they do because they are a household name. Sometimes they're hoping that you're one of their ads are catching you that just kind of put you in the mood for their stuff to for me personally, I used to be a Pepsi guy and then I strictly went to Coke, but I don't really drink soda anymore. So but the point is the point is that they're playing, as Gary likes to talk, the long game.
The long game, yeah.
Right?
It's karma in a sense.
Well, it's not only karma, but people always talk about it's if they don't know you exist, how are they ever going to buy from you?
Yeah.
It's timing too.
Timing.
You're not gonna be thirsty every time you see a Coca-Cola commercial. So the more times you can see it, for instance, the one we're doing is for a supplement company, and we're presenting some information on Facebook, and they're just reading some information at that point. So they're just not in the mindset of buying something at that point. So hit them over and over again. Keep showing your brand and your product in front of them, and eventually, hopefully they'll buy.
Yeah, and not everybody will.
Right.
You know, like you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, but you know the mindset to going into it is like, you know, how do I just try to pay for my marketing? Like, let's forget about being profitable. We can worry about that later. How do I just get my marketing for free? And that's, look, some industries, some markets are more difficult than others, right? Like, you always talk about, you know, I forgot what I was listening to. They were like, unless you have a mass market product, you're not going to be a multi-million-dollar company in like 6 months, right? Or even in a while, right? Like, it's like there are certain conditions that have to be in the marketplace for you to, you know, hit certain levels, right? Like cosmetics, they're usually big, giant companies. You know, ingestibles, big, giant companies. Like these big markets, golf, big, giant markets where you have millions and millions and millions of people who are passionate. So the conditions also matter.
Right. And I think right now, with the way e-commerce is going and everybody's opening a store, everybody wants to sell their shit. You know, I think everybody has that idea that they're going to open a store and tomorrow they're just going to have all these sales. But you have to kind of be in it for the long-term game to be successful. Yeah, it's not an overnight thing.
It's not an overnight thing. And, like, you know, just think about that client today who, like, really unexpectedly just like a month ago gave us like a glowing referral, like saying like we're killing it for him. And then all of a sudden, you know, we made a mistake, but all of a sudden, like, he's like, oh, the leads are not, and we're like, we asked you, like, how are the
we're
leads?
looking at the results, and all we see is results. So it's
that's all we see. But let's take him for example, and this is why, you know, people who listen and who have, you know, stores, you need to evaluate what your product is and what the market looks like. For example, this particular client had, you know, anybody could be his audience, anybody, right? So when you market on Facebook.
These are great cameras.
That's a good investment.
Yeah. When you market on Facebook and you target the audience, right? Like, and this is, I think this is what kind of happens with this guy in particular. Like, the target audience for his product wasn't very targeted. It didn't need to be because anybody could be his customer, right?
Yeah.
Whereas other people, like if we do a golf company or if we do like some sort of, you know, ingestibles, like the targeting for that is a little bit more, you know, niche down, so to speak.
Well, I think they also thought that there was some kind of magical targeting we could do. Like we could pick out these certain amount of people who would be their perfect audience, and that we were in charge of finding them in some way.
I think that was a case of a guy who like reads things and like, so this guy like who contacted this company is like, he's like one of those marketers that like has no experience but reads like, oh my God, they said to do this. Oh, I read this. We should be doing this. We should be doing this. And I'm like, dude, like relax, man. Like the ads are working.
Yeah.
You know, it's
You're
like
getting phone calls. That's not the problem.
Right.
You're getting clicks on your ad for 20 cents. You're getting phone calls.
Right.
That's not the problem.
The problem is the people who are calling may or may, you know, we may have to tweak that a little bit, but he didn't even give us a chance to do that. But anyway, they're gone.
Yeah.
But it's a good lesson for everybody who's listening, right? It's like you have to evaluate who your market is, what they look like, your product, and understand that you're not going to be profitable. Like, I have this Facebook ads webinar sign-up page going. And the reason I haven't done this webinar is because I think that
You're lazy.
you know, it's a lot of work, but that's not really the problem. I think the problem with it is that I think people expect me to show them like how to make 1 million
That's
sales.
what it is. Yeah, they think they're going to sign up and they're going to watch your webinar and they're going to be rich tomorrow.
Right.
Well, that's what sells, though. I think that's even the stuff that you get interested in, right? Like, it's never Russell Brunson being like, guys, you're going to be broke spending your money on it. I mean, he does speak the truth like that, but he's always like, oh, this is how you're going to be a millionaire too in a certain amount of time.
I think
so
our
people look for that.
conscience gets the best of us sometimes, I think, when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, which is a good thing. You don't want to sell someone like a bullshit, false idea. But
And I know it would be great when you did it. It would be very valuable, and people would get a lot out of it. But the management of expectation needs to be there as well.
Yeah. But I think starting with, most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, you're not going to be profitable on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Just not how it works. You have to have a strong back end.
Lifetime value of a customer. Once you have that, I mean, that's the key to the whole thing.
Yeah, if you
to
know what your
understanding that.
customers are worth to you over a certain amount of time, you know what you can spend on marketing
Yeah.
or on paid advertising. But
yeah. What do you think about that podcast? You think we're all over the place a little bit on that one? You usually say that by the end of the podcast.
no, I didn't feel like we were.
Doesn't he always say
I
that,
do.
Paul?
I feel like we were all over the
I
place.
think we were. Actually, that time. You
Why?
don't think so? I don't know. I think we were just back and forth a little bit. And we had some distractions from
No, I
the
mean that's
surrounding
good, but
things.
that's gonna be fucking
I bought
cameras.
some cameras from Amazon for like $100 instead of setting up our phones to record it. It's so terrible. And they were just been going off as we've been recording. So
Can I
they've
ask you a
been
question?
distracting.
Did we charge them
I charged the one I got the other day.
fully?
I think so. So we can't in the
So what
middle.
you're saying is we can't use these
And I
now.
get very distracted, so I would hear the cameras would go off, and Albert's over there rolling around in his chair, doing God knows what,
Squeaking.
walking around behind us.
He's recording it on the whatever that he uses.
yeah.
Anyway, are we gonna keep that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, moral of the story is, go to ecommerce.uncensored.com/email. Sign up for Klaviyo. But really, you got to have your expectations. And
We talk about patience a lot too, and that's pretty much what it is.
It is, but I think it's okay. So, some people just can't wait.
Yeah.
They need to make money, and that's a whole different ballgame. And some people, can't. They don't have the luxury of waiting. They want to be like an overnight success, but it just doesn't happen like
Well,
that.
some of our clients too, they're seeing like a decline in some of their other marketing efforts, so they're like coming back to us and expecting this big return on Facebook to make up for like the other part of the business that's failing, and it's that's like trying to get a quick fix, and it's just not going to be there for something like this. You got to be in for it long term.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you all set on that, buddy?
Yeah, and I think what I was going to say is like, not knowing what to expect can also screw up your expectations, right? Like we know that 99.9% of the time you're not going to be profitable on the front end. Right? Most people aren't. But when you're first getting into this, you don't know that. Like you don't know to expect that.
No, and I didn't. I mean, when you first came in, I didn't have those thoughts until you kind of talked to me more and more and drilled it into me. I didn't.
I mean, I read Russell Brunson's book, and he basically talks about it, and it makes sense. And now that we have all the experience behind us, now that we're, running Facebook ads for tons of different clients and Google ads, now we're seeing it.
And that's when we see these agencies coming and saying you're getting a 1.7 return, we're like, yeah, you're full of shit.
You're not. No, especially when there's no upsells or they're not controlling email. You're not getting 1 point.
If it was that easy, especially looking at some of the ads, if it was that easy, like we wouldn't be here talking to you guys.
Exactly.
So I guess that's it. So listen, our favorite email marketing platform is Klaviyo. You guys should all stop what you're doing, stop the platform that you're using if you're not using Klaviyo, and go sign up for a free trial. It's not a trial. Sorry. It's a free account at Klaviyo. Go to ecommerceuncensored.com/email to sign up for that account right away. And then jump over to our Facebook group, ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook, and sign up for our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. Why are you doing that? Is that what I'm doing?
No, my father does it. I was driving with him like on a long trip, and like I'm talking to him, and he's like,
Finger guns to solid
I don't know
fist.
what
He's like pointing his finger
He's
and
just
he's
like-
pumping because you guys
like
are listening to us and can't see what Jason's doing. He's moving his hand around and being very disruptive.
It's an aggressive yet
Very
reassuring
distracting.
gesture. It's kind of reassuring, like
Did I cover everything? All
Think
those
so.
links?
yeah.
All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been episode 92. And you can go over to ecommerceuncensored.com to check us out. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys later.
Adios.
Later.
Bye-bye.